Constraining is an important step to gaining momentum and getting results in the things that we are working on in our lives. And today I'll explain what constraining is and give you some coaching pro tips on how to constrain in your life based on your unique purpose. Constraining is so important to making progress on different things we're working on. So what do I mean by constraining? I'm talking about the definition of restricting the scope or imposing restrictions or limitations or narrowing our focus. Much like Charles Dickens said in A Tale of Two Cities, quote, "Constraining my mind not to wander from the task." So this is what we're talking about with constraining. Research suggests that most of us are actually terrible multitaskers. In fact, only about 2% of people can multitask effectively. That means that if we are working on a big project at work while also texting a family member and checking news alerts and creating a shopping list for the grocery store, we probably aren't going to be very effective at any of them. You probably know that, but did you know that the same thing goes for big goals? If today you are working on goals to better organize your files and improve your health and to build a better relationship with your in-laws, you probably aren't making much progress in any of those either. Research shows that we are much more effective if we focus in on one thing at a time. So constraining ourselves is essential for most of us to get things done and make marked progress. The more we constrain, the more quickly we grow and see the results. A quick side note here, constraining our focus to one thing doesn't mean that we don't do anything else. It means that we leave the other areas in our life on autopilot as much as possible while we focus our goals and our growth in one area for a certain amount of time. We limit newness to that one area as much as possible. So if I decide to focus more on my health, I still show up for work and I spend time with my family and I continue to do as many of the other good habits that I've created as possible while constraining my goals to one thing. Like I still read a book for 20 minutes a day if I've already established that habit, or take my kids out one-on-one at least once a month, or time block my schedule at the beginning of the week. I keep those previously worked on goals and I just keep them going on autopilot as much as possible. Any new goals I try on would only be in my area of focus. But the best way to constrain effectively and get the most progress possible will really depend on you as a person, your strengths and your preferences. Let me give you some examples. Someone who has higher consistency in their strengths may want to constrain to one main focus for a year. Their goals and growth and plans and new learning and thoughts will all be geared toward that main focus for the entire year. Now, if you are chafing under that idea just by hearing me say it, then that's probably not going to be a good fit for you. You may be higher in adaptability strengths. You might enjoy or even thrive with more variety. You can still constrain, of course. We want to constrain, but the amount of time that you constrain to one particular focus may be much shorter. You may have one main focus for the week, or even one main focus in the morning and another focus in the afternoon. The point is to find a method that works best for you. How do you do that? By trying different constraining time blocks out. How do you know if the amount of time that you're constraining to a task is working for you or not? Well, I have 4 coaching pro tips for you today. Number 1, look at your results. For me, I found that the amount of time I constrain to work on a specific goal really depends on that goal. I'm high in the achiever strength theme, so I love finishing things. When I created my awesome Discover Your Purpose course and launched that last spring, I constrained to finishing that course for 3 months. That was my main focus. I even found that I needed to drop some of the other things that I had on autopilot in order to get the progress and results that I wanted. I learned that by trying things out. During that time, I didn't work out every day, for example. I moved to 3 times a week, and I played around with other different ways of constraining until I found what worked for me, what was actually getting me the results that I wanted. Which leads me to tip number 2, be willing to change up your constraining approach based on the situation. So you don't always have to do things in 3-month blocks if that worked for you once. If you have something else that you think will take less time, go ahead and change that up. Schedule less time, constrain less time to that focus. Sometimes I find that I just have more new things going on in different areas at the same time, and so I adjust to that. Or sometimes I crave more variety in my day, and I will change things up on a day-to-day basis. So that might look like Monday, I constrain my growth and goals and progress to the kitchen remodel or other home projects. And Tuesday, I constrain to my coaching business goals. Wednesday, I constrain to one of our other businesses and goals in that business, and so on and so on. All right, tip number 3, find your prime brain time. I do my best non-autopilot work in the morning, so whenever possible, that is when I work on whatever it is I'm constraining to, the new things that I have to come up with new brain power around. The rest of my day, I schedule simpler tasks or things that I can do more on autopilot, or fun things. You want to schedule those in too. And while I'm working in the morning, I turn off or remove all distractions and only work on the one focus that I've chosen. When my mind wanders to other tasks, I bring it back and really constrain to my focus. So really double down on your prime brain time. All right, tip number 4, constrain effectively for habit creation. If you aren't constraining to a specific project, but to something where you want to create new habits like health, and part of your goals are to start lifting 4 days a week, drink 8 glasses of water a day, and eat veggies with every meal, then you're going to want to constrain to that one area until you feel like the habit has actually moved into autopilot and it doesn't take a lot of brain energy to keep it going. Once the chosen habits are just something that you do, they become part of your identity, then you're ready to constrain to something else. Just a note, habit creation time frames depend on the person. Studies show that people take anywhere from 18 to 254 days to create a habit. Depends on your brain. But the average is 66 days or about 2 months. So find the time range, because it will vary a bit based on the difficulty of the habit you're trying to create, that works for you and constrain based on that information. So try constraining. Do it in a way that aligns with your strengths and current life situation, and then be willing to change it up when you aren't seeing the progress that you would like to see anymore. If you want more help understanding your strengths and how you naturally show up in the world so you can constrain even more effectively, check out my Discover Your Purpose course. The link is in my video description. You've totally got this.